Alright, I think we good now, for fuck's sake. Check if that's coming in. Yeah, looks alright. Alright. Give it just 1 second. Okay, alright. It's working, so let's start off with the first pasta. Which is, what should we begin with? How about a really good one called Mario Kart Black? Jesus Christ. So, without further ado, this is Mario Kart Black.
The story. My name is Sarah and I am 17 years old. I used to live in my happy neighborhood in New Jersey, but not anymore. In fact, I also used to have an older brother who cares so much about me and always stands up for me, but he died 4 years ago. What happened to him? How did he die? Does it have something to do with why you have to leave New Jersey? The story I'm about to tell will give you all the answers. It all started way back in 2009 when my older brother's, I won't reveal his real name, so let's just call him Jacob, 21st birthday. My brother just got a Nintendo Wii for his birthday. He was surprised he got a black-colored Wii console, which is great since it holds more data than the original white ones. However, our parents said there weren't any Wii games that came along with it, which was odd, so they gave us some money to buy some as I come along with Jacob to GameStop since they're the best source of finding games that you wanna buy. When we arrived at the closest GameStop, I noticed that there were hundreds of Wii games to choose from. From Mario to Zelda to Pokemon to first-person shooters, Jacob and...
Yeah, the amount of data in your Wii is definitely an important detail to have in a creepypasta story and totally doesn't break the immersion or anything. But I digress.
From Mario to Zelda to Pokemon to first-person shooters, Jacob and I started searching around for the perfect Wii game to start with. 4 minutes later, I was looking for Mario games and Jacob was looking for rated M for mature games. And in amusement, I found the perfect game for Jacob's new Wii. The game appeared to be a Mario game and it was called Mario Kart Wii. I remembered playing Mario Kart 64 when I was a little kid and Jacob always beats me in a race. But that was the past. With Mario Kart Wii, that is not going to happen. I will show Jacob what I'm made of when I show him this. I'll show him who's going to be the one losing all the time.
Very confident.
So I ran to Jacob and showed him the game, and when I did, he laughed. Really? You expect that to be my first Wii game ever? Jacob said. Remember the times I keep losing to you in Mario Kart 64? Guess what? That ain't gonna happen in this game, I replied. Jacob said, no, what I'm saying is why should we start off with that when we could start with this game? He showed me a Mario game that has a rated M on it. I think it's very weird because I don't think Nintendo had ever made a game with a rated M on it. And normally, our parents wouldn't let us play rated M games, and the games were supposed to look for ones that we can play together. Another thing is that Jacob loves games that are rated M, which are, in other words, zombie killing, shooting games, games with drugs, blood, and of course, some hardcore language. But as a 17-year-old girl, I am willing to have the guts to play this game Jacob is talking about.
Oh fuck, I should have picked a
I agree
female
with Jacob
text
that we should buy this game. Before we handed it to the cashier, I took a good look at...
fix that. Oh, that fucked it up. Fuck. Oh, god damn it.
I'm willing to have the guts to play this
There we
game
go.
Jacob is talking about. I agree with Jacob that we should buy this game. Before we handed it to the cashier, I took a good look at the game. It was called Mario Kart Black, probably a Mario Kart game, and the box art cover depicted.
Is that true, though, that Nintendo has never made a rated M game? I can't think of one, but I'm pretty sure that's false.
I looked in the back of the box and there was nothing but two phrases that said, suicide and murder, in big bloody letters. Are you sure we should buy this? This game looks suspicious. I said nervously. Oh come on. What are you?
Fucking
Scared?
baby.
You're scared of a Mario game?
You're scared, dude.
Don't be such a chicken. Jacob replied. I'm not a chicken, I yelled, just when we made it the cashier. I gave the cashier the game, and when I did, the cashier's face was pale and he started
A
shaking
17
like
and a
he was scared of
21-year-old.
what I gave him.
You're a chicken, bruh.
The cashier tried to calm down, but wouldn't stop shaking. I tried to ask if Nintendo really did make this game, which made the cashier shake even more. The cashier said in a nervous voice, "Just take the game, kid.
Kid.
Just take it for free," and then ran off to the employee's room. That cashier is such a
GameStop has an
whiny baby,
employee's room?
Jacob said. Then I said to him, I don't know if we should take it or not. Please, sister. This game looks awesome. Jacob begged. But didn't you saw the cashier's face when I gave it to him? I asked. Yeah. He's
Yeah.
just too much of a chicken. Let's just take it. He said as he grabs my arm and the game while heading out of GameStop and going home. Our parents were at work, so Jacob suggested that we try out our new Mario Kart game, though I don't think it's a good idea since I'm having the feeling that something bad is.
Oh, our parents are at work, but we're 21 and 17? We're worried
Our
about getting
parents
caught
were
with
at
the
work,
rated M
so
game?
Jacob suggested that we try out our new Mario Kart game, though I don't think it's a good idea since I'm having the feeling that something bad is going to happen as we head to his bedroom. When we inserted the
Something
disc,
bad's
which was a blank
gonna
disc
happen
with the
as we get to
phrase
his bedroom.
Mario
Doesn't
Kart
sound
Black
right.
written on a permanent black marker, and started up the Wii, I noticed two strange things. 1. The startup icon for the game, the thing that you see when you inserted a Wii game, was a completely black screen. 2. When we touched the icon with the Wiimotes, there was no intro. It was still a completely black screen with no music or sounds coming from it. I then pressed start and then the game started. The first thing that happened is that when it started, there was another black screen with a text message that said, "Welcome to my world." Dude, this is like being on a scary
Dude.
movie simulator, Jacob
dude,
said. He was well amazed by that one message until another message came. It stated, "Now we can have some fun." And some disturbing noises were heard from the TV. The statement finished its line with the phrase, "Racing in hell!" Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. While laughing noises were added and blood was splattered all over the black screen, scaring Jacob a bit. It then cut to the title screen, which looked pretty gruesome. It depicted Mario and Luigi killing each other with knives, cutting each other apart. Above
Yeah.
the Slaughtered Plumbers was the name of the game, which was Mario Kart Black, and disturbed.
Yeah, the text-to-speech sometimes, in my experience with it, it sometimes repeats lines, sometimes spells out punctuation, and gets weird with numbers sometimes, but it's the only website that it shows what is being read as highlighted, which I really liked just for the purposes of this stream, so just have to
Above the
tough it
Slaughtered
out.
Plumbers was the name of the game, which was Mario Kart Black, and disturbing music was playing. Why would Nintendo make such a scary game? I asked. Who cares?
Who
Jacob
cares?
answered like if he really didn't care. This is the best game ever. It does look like the Mario Kart Wii game I played with my friends last week, but I look like it is goddamn hacked or a mod. But you still need to admit, this is awesome. Yeah, but...
Yeah,
I
but
replied, this looks like it if was made by demons or was made demoniacally by nature. Oh please, sis.
Made
Jacob said, I don't
demoniacally
think some
from
demon made the game, nor did the game came to this world by itself. This is still the scariest, but also the best game I ever played. Now things are starting to confuse me even more. Jacob thinks the game is a hacked version of Mario Kart Wii, but I think the game is either possessed by demons or was sent to this world by itself to torture those who find it.
so it's
When
like a
I
death
pressed
note.
start on my Wiimote, there was only mode in the game, single player. No multiplayer, no Nintendo WFC, no Mario Kart channel, just single player as I pressed it. When we made it to the single player screen, it was another black screen, like the ones from before, with two options on it. We can either enter hell, or... Both options were written in dried
True.
blood crimson letters. Jacob stopped for a minute before making a choice and then said, "You're right, Sarah. We shouldn't have bought this game, what was I thinking?" Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. As he and I choose to
Exclamation
enter
mark.
hell. I wished Jacob would listen to me. If he did, this would never happen. Maybe next time, you should listen to your own sister, who thinks before buying things, I told him. After pressing the Enter Hell option, the game leads us to the character selection screen. There, we notice that the only character in the game we can play as is Mario. Selecting him leads us to the kart selection screen, where
Surprised it
only the
wasn't
Wild
dry
Wing is
bones or
available.
something spooky.
And
bruh.
finally, after choosing the Wild Wing, was the track selection screen. There was only one track which was called Suicide. The game didn't give us a preview on the track before we started. Jesus Christ, why would they make such gruesome game? We both thought. Before the race started, another text message appears. It said, "I'm impressed with you. Do you really want to come here? You really want it, do you?" Then a demonic laugh was heard while an image flashed, and then a loud heartbeat with more demonic laughing was heard, just like in Dreamy Rainbow 2.
It's just
We were
like
both scared when saw that image pass by us. I don't even remember what it looks like since it was too fast, but I swear to my God that I saw a demonic Mario with his eyes missing and blood flowing from his sockets while smiling. After that, there was static blocking the view for only a short time, probably like 15 seconds, and then the real race
specific
started.
time. Check that one off.
Mario, me and Jacob was the only racer in this track, which appears to be a very foggy dark forest with the sky being pitch black and it was raining. However, it wasn't drops of water that falling, but instead, it was drops of red liquid splattering on the road, which could be blood. It's raining. Blood. I said
Blood?
with my voice scratchy like if a woman saw a child getting murdered. I think so. Jacob responded in a serious tone, but we still need to find out what's going on. He was going to protect me from the madness our game was causing. After the 3, 2, 1, go. Message, we started to drive Mario and follow the racetracks. Message, we
least it's
started
not
to drive Mario
hyper-realistic
and follow
blood.
the racetracks. The music that was playing for the course was the Endless Stairs theme from Super Mario 64, and every second it gets louder and louder. Because of the heavily dense fog, Jacob nor do I have a single idea where we are, and suddenly lightning flashed the screen. There wasn't even a map for this track so that we can find out where we are, while the Endless Stairs theme got even louder. We started looking around for help, and by the time we did, the Endless Stairs theme has gotten, do you know what I mean, deafening loud that we have to wear our earplugs,
You know
though
what I
the
mean?
music
Yeah,
is
you know,
still
bro.
piercing our ears. We kept looking for help until I saw something that caught my attention. Jacob and I head over to see what it was. As realization hits us, there was a huge pile of smashed, broken, and burned carts with mangled clothing, some guts, internal organs, and body parts with it. The Endless Stairs theme finally stopped, but then changed to a more distorted version of the game's main menu.
Oh my,
We weren't able to control Mario.
Like, how the fuck are you supposed to know what this sounds like? It's such a specific, like, oh, do you know the fucking player select menu music from Mario Kart for Wii? Do you fucking know? It's like, what the fuck, bro? I see how people include doctored images on their creepypasta pages on the wikis. They need to include like sound files of what we're supposed to be hearing at certain parts in the creepypasta. Just throw those in there so you can play them and know what the fuck they're talking about.
We weren't able to control Mario after that. Did our Wiimotes broke or something? I asked my brother. No, Jacob answered, it's gotta be the game that's doing this. Mario started to cry as he drives the Wild Wing by himself, going around the pile, like if it's a cutscene. What grossed me out the most at that point is when he ran over Luigi's sliced head, resulting in fresh blood gushing on the screen. I feel so bad for Mario. Poor plumber. Jacob said like if now he cares. We see Mario driving while crying in such sadness for about 2 minutes, then we a sign that says, "Turn back now," in bloody red writing, and then Mario stopped, but was still in tears. I then find out that we were able to control Mario again, and as soon as I did, Jacob told me something about that sign. He said, "I don't think I would do what the sign says if I were you." Hear me? Don't you dare turn back, this could be trap. And so, I refused to do what the sign said and went past it, and when I did, I had unleashed the power of hell. We weren't, once again, able to control Mario. Mario started driving the Wild Wing by himself again, and this time, he drove so fast he was a blur like Sonic. Another lightning flash.
Also, you're supposed to know what the fuck the Wild Wing is and what it looks like.
Another lightning flashed the screen as violent screaming can be heard while passing a couple of wrecked carts. The music then started to sound more distorted and worse, and then we heard someone yelling in a Satan-like voice, "Mario," which made Mario's screams very loud. Who said that? Who's there? Show yourself. Jacob yelled back. I didn't think it would hear me, but it did. The game responded with the screen fading black. I was very frightened at that point, but Jacob tried to be brave and still does his best to protect me. I'll tell you who said that. The game responded by text message while realistic wheels skidding across a road can be heard. That was the game. Pause for a moment. Me! Exclamation mark. It finished its statement along with a horrible smashing noise and more blood splattering on the screen, and then cut to a bloody zombie Mario with his cap on fire, looking exactly like the Mario from the game's box, and then said in a demonic voice, "Welcome to hell!" Exclamation mark. And then cuts to the cliff players would be at when they lose a Grand Prix. Mario, who now looks way messed up, and his Wild Wing was only there, and then 10 seconds later, Mario revved the engine and just sped off the cliff, jumping off about 240 feet into the ground, crashing.
Oh, 240.
And a deafening scream escalated from Mario was heard when the screen fades to black again. I tried to turn off the Wii console, but it won't shut off. I can't even turn off the TV, nor can I open the bedroom door. It was locked for a bizarre reason.
A bizarre reason.
Well, I guess we did fall for it, I said. Our game is already at us. A text message appeared on the black screen, which consists of only one word, suicide. The screen keeps flashing over and over as the word, suicide, gets larger and larger. Then when it got super huge, the phrase disappeared and distorted music was playing along with scary, brutal images of Mario characters being killed by a shadowy figure. Then when it got super huge, the phrase disappeared and distorted music was playing along with scary, brutal images of Mario characters being killed by a shadowy figure. Then when it got super huge, the phrase disappeared and distorted music was playing along with scary, brutal images of Mario characters being killed by a shadowy figure. Then when it got super huge, the phrase disappeared and distorted music was playing along with scary, brutal images of Mario characters being killed by a shadowy figure. Then when it got super huge, the phrase disappeared and
Oh, what
distorted
the
music.
fuck?
When Jacob had enough, he goes to his closet
Fuck.
and grabbed his baseball bat and
Fucking
started
ghetto-ass
smashing the Wii
text-to-speech.
console into tiny pieces. As it got smashed, the TV shut off and so did the game, but Jacob was still in a rage. Jacob, calm down. It's over, I said while trying to calm Jacob down. I can't help it. I just can't take this anymore that I have to.
I can't
Jacob
take it.
yelled.
Mario died.
Our parents
He
are
was my
going to be
friend.
mad at us when they get home, you know. I said. I know they will. But at least we're saved. Jacob
We're
responded.
saved.
I don't think this is the end, I said in a weak voice as I saw a shadow of someone coming to us. Someone's coming. We were shocked to find out that shadow was Mario. My heart was beating very fast, however. Finally found you too, he said. Now say hello to suicide and murder. Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. I started to scream and jumped out of the bedroom window and started running, but before I did, and I saw Mario slaughtering Jacob brutally with his razor-sharp claws. This made me cry so hard.
I
Blood
cried.
splattered all over the
I cried
walls,
every
and a
time.
very evil laugh was heard. My older brother, who always stands up for me, who always cares about me, and who likes to play
Okay,
and
this
do
isn't the
enjoyable
time for
things
his
with me, is
eulogy.
dead,
What the
and it
fuck?
was
You should be
because of this
running.
living hell game character who was brought from the game that we just played. I ran as fast as I can with tears falling down my face, knowing that Mario was already tracking me down. After running for my life for about 12 minutes, and with my
About
energy
12
low, I noticed that Mario wasn't chasing me anymore. So then, in my head, I said, I gotta hide. He could come back soon unless I hide from that psycho. I decided to go to the GameStop that Jacob and I went to buy that game. While hiding there, I noticed that the same cashier from before was still there. So I want to ask him how did that game get in the store, and why did Nintendo make such a life-ending game? Excuse me, sir,
Such a
I said to the
life-ending
cashier,
game? What
explain
the
to me
fuck?
how did this game called Mario Kart Black got here? I and my bro played it and it became a living nightmare that it already killed my brother. The cashier froze and recognized me from before. Well, he said nervously, I can tell you one thing, and that's Nintendo who did not made this game. Then, why does it have the logo on it? I asked. I don't know, kid, the cashier said. All I know is that Nintendo didn't make it.
Well, dude,
I
it was
don't
made
think
by
they ever
demons or
made it totally
something.
gruesome.
In a demonic
Then
fashion.
how did you know it was horrible? I asked. Because I played it before with a couple of my
I just
friends.
imagine like a
The
Miyamoto
cashier
little
responds,
devil
but it was
horns
pretty
and an
damn
evil
terrible
smile.
that it killed my friends. He yelled while sobbing loudly, which made everybody in the store stop for a moment and watched us talking. You don't need to cry, everybody's watching us. I said, please calm yourself down. I have another question. If Nintendo didn't make it, who did? I don't know who really made Mario Kart Black either. Everyone gasped and ran off the store, screaming. Why did everyone run off screaming? I asked. Because of a secret that I must tell you. The cashier said they played Mario Kart Black 2 and they had their friends and family members killed.
Everyone
People
at the
must never
store.
buy this game. I gasped and head to the GameStop exit saying, well, I got to go, it's good to see you, bye. I went back on the run.
I gotta go. Good
I
to
heard
see
that Mario has taken over my family. Killed my brother Jacob and even killed my parents when they got home. Now he's looking for me. I gotta get out of this city before it's too late. I was now running through the railroads where I noticed and got into a train, which took me all the way to Louisiana. There, I
Wow,
started a new life
Louisiana.
alone. Today. Tomorrow, my nightmare days are now history. I haven't seen Mario since I got to Louisiana. I live in a new neighborhood, and I am hoping that I get a house of my own. I got a new job as a nurse at a local hospital. 6 months of working later, I finally got enough money to buy a house of my own. I am also married to someone who always there for me. But my husband reminds of my brother Jacob, and when he does, it also reminds me of that one fateful night back in New Jersey. Something I will never forget.
Wow. Holy shit, that was epic. So you ran off to Louisiana? Where did you used to live? Like, California or something? Is Louisiana far? Fuck. I like the addition of the parents to the body count just out of the fucking blue, all nonchalant. This game killed my brother. Oh, it also killed my parents, by the way, just saying. That's right. He needs to play more Mario's Geography or something like that. Fuck, well that was garbage, so vote now on your phones. Was that from the proper official creepypasta, or was that from the Creepypasta Training Wiki, which is now home to just all crappypasta? Give a 1 in chat for creepypasta, 1 and 2 for crappypasta. And I'll queue up the next story. Wow, dude, really? 2? Well, I think the votes are in, and I'm sorry to say it was actually from the real creepypasta. Oh my god, bruh. No. No, it was from the shitpasta wiki. Yeah. It was very similar to, like Sonic.exe in terms of structure of playing a demonic game and then, oh, Mario comes out and kills me or some stupid shit like that, and oh, I'm telling you this story after the fact, and I'm on the run and shit, and it's a lot like that. But it didn't mention or Sonic.exe anywhere. Sometimes the pastas will mention at the beginning, oh, this is inspired by blah 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 or whatever. Or this is a spin-off or a sequel to Slender Man or some shit like that. But now we got Sabrine. I won't mention the author, not to not give him props, but because sometimes the author's name just flat out gives it away, whether it's real or troll. So I'll hold off on that, but you can look up these pastas if you so fancy to find out who wrote them. Maybe I'll have it at the end or something, maybe. I don't know. This is a pilot program, pilot episode. So we got Sabrine, let's begin.
Salt on her porch.
Oh.
It was
Stupid piece of
yesterday. I noticed my new college-age neighbor shoveling her front walkway and laying out salt on her porch. It was difficult to miss the patient expression on her face despite her struggle to make her sidewalk manageable. I had broken up with my last girlfriend, Naomi, a few weeks ago, so I figured it was a good time to make a move on someone new and interesting. She made flirting easy, and was evidently proud of her glowing smile,
Your ex's
because
name
she
is
flashed
very
it to me
relevant.
every chance she could. She had also ended her relationship with some guy who couldn't handle long distance. Since her parents are always out of the house, we hooked up a couple times, but we never get too personal. It's just that there's that ever-present smile. It's a few months later now, and I'm getting stressed over midterms, so I needed a fix.
Yeah, blunt,
It's
bruh.
been a few weeks since I was last over, but I know her parents are supposed to be away right now. I call her up and make my way over around 7, as the sun begins to set. I walk in after hearing her unlock the door, and watch a thin, but toned body prance up the stairs in a red set of lingerie. I follow her to her parents' room, curious at why she's trying a different routine this time, but also noticing that something else feels different. I still don't even know this girl, Sabrine, or what she was about. I don't know
But
what
you're at her
school she goes
house?
to,
Okay.
her favorite color, where she likes to eat, or even what her last name might be. At this moment I begin to feel sick, even disturbed at the ideas that run through my mind. I need to know. Right now, while she's in her parents' bathroom, probably getting ready for me, is the perfect moment to do some sort of digging.
What?
I quickly pry through drawers and photo albums, finding nothing strange, but I still can't scratch this itch that's starting to pour out
Ow.
a sweat. My frantic search for answers leads me to a closet door, which I reach for with shaken hands. As I wrap my damp palm around the knob, I take a moment to consider that I'm being moronic and paranoid. I've
Yeah.
done this a dozen times by now. What am I going to find? More baby pictures, another dated set of clothes, a collection of music. As my fears subside, I open the door to find two large plastic bags,
Oh my
holding the
God.
separated limbs of a rotting middle-aged man and woman. Before I can vomit in terror and disgust, I turn to face the open bathroom door, with Sabrine facing me, nude, looking surprised to see me, then shifting her face to form that perky smile of hers. I don't know whether her or her dead parents is the more sickening sight. My thoughts are interrupted by a blunt strike to the back of my head, followed by Sabrine's piercing shriek. As I recover, I hear violent screams coming from the bathroom, followed by a dense thump and a crack. I feel myself becoming more distant from consciousness and find incredible difficulty in looking up at the doorway, but manage to make out a pair of legs roaming toward me from a small pool of blood. Her hips sway calmly, gently, despicably, and her groin is skimpily covered by red lace. My vision fails entirely, and the world becomes unnaturally black and silent for only a moment before I hear Naomi's unmistakable voice.
What?
You and your little whore have been very, very bad.
What the fuck? So then Naomi pops in at the end? What the shit? Okay, that was bizarre. And short too, what the hell? Yeah, well, fuck it. Alright, so that was Sabrine. Oh, fuck, screenshot mode. I don't want to be in screenshot mode. Vote now on your phones. 1 for real, 2 for shit. No, I'd vote 2 for shit. Drifting farther from consciousness. Yep, that was a real bona fide pasta you can read on the official creepypasta. Go figure. 10 out of 10. Really scared me, bro. Oh my god. Yeah. I guess so long as your pasta has nothing to do with video games, then it's fine. It gets into the creepypasta wiki. But the second you mention Mario or Pokemon or some shit, ain't going in the trash. Alright, let's just move along. We got the Horror of Katha Thumu. Is that a video game boss? That's the Nintendo factor. It is. In fact, I came across, yeah, I'm pretty sure. It was on the Creepypasta wiki, and it was Toho. It was a Toho pasta about, you know, some bullshit about Toho. But, man, there was some salt flying on that page because the page was up for deletion because it was about video games, and the author of the creepypasta cited oh, well, Ben drowned and other stupid bullshit about video games are on here. Why can't mine be on here? And then they're like, okay, fuck it, whatever, just delete it. Fucking delete it, you fucking assholes. And then the mods are down in the comments saying, well, it clearly states in the rules that video game pastas aren't allowed, and what's the... You know, all this whatever bullshit, but I guess the author was tired of it and just wanted it deleted. And I'm sure it's deleted if you went to check for it. That was some pretty funny, yeah, drama. It is. I didn't think there'd be that much drama, but I guess I should have just already pictured it, given how, given just the audience, the people who write creepypastas and the people who enjoy it, are probably more drama prone, I would think. Makes me wonder if there should just be a creepypasta wiki dedicated to video games, since that genre of creepypasta is so prolific. Might as well just, like, fucking make it. Howdy, how are you doing? I have seen your King Dolce Twitch channel. Cool. Oh shit, they're gonna design a custom layout for me, bro. Oh fuck, that is so poggers. Can I get a poggers in chat? For this kind Samaritan who's gonna make a custom layout after I just made one. So, wait, what was that fucking called? The Horror of Katha Thumu. Let's, begin.
I was visiting the lake of
Oh, wait,
Anantasaga.
but let's pick a different voice. Let's mix it up. Yeah. Poggers, fuck yeah.
I was visiting the lake of Anandasigar, 25 kilometers from Siddipet, Telangana, India, with my chiropterologist family in order to look for bats.
The bot could at least follow. You know, just saying. Shit, bro. Hook a brother up with a follow. Alright.
I was visiting the lake of Anandasigar, 25 kilometers from Siddipet, Telangana, India, with my chiropterologist family in order to look for bats to study.
Chiropterologist?
The area is beautiful, dirt roads interspersed with gentle rolling pastures, undulating plains, as Dad calls them, small rivulets, more like drainage canals, leading from the Anandasigar lake out into the plains. The actual road to the lake bund was about 2 kilometers of tar road until we reached a small hamlet called Patha Thumu, Patha, Old Thumu, Sluice, where we asked for directions to the Sheruvu Lake. We had to go to this little place called Kota Thumu, Kota, New, and we were told to follow the road till we reached a small sluice on the dead end. We followed the directions to the point, accompanied by a couple of men on a Bajaj Chetak.
A what?
They came with us the whole way and told us that we had to be careful round these parts because the lake was right there and it was very, very deep. Also, people came here and did God knows what kind of stuff. There was this aforementioned little sluice on the cul-de-sac which we crossed with no problem and saw these stone stairs embedded in the soil, paving the way, apparently, to the bund. The sluice was on a little stream that came from the lake, and on moving further up the stairs I noticed that the actual rock had been carved away into a deep canyon by this kid of a stream. On the third landing, Dad and I stopped to take some photographs of the canyon and for some reason, I started feeling uncomfortable. I started noticing details about my surroundings, something I only do when I feel scared. I knew this feeling was strange because I severely freaked out because of a cobweb on my elbow. Never did that happen to me ever. The villagers escorting us had come up by that time, accompanying Mum and our friend along the path and talking to them about the lake. As soon as one of them saw me, he said, "Babu, ikata kucho baku." Boy, don't sit there.
What was that, bro?
For some reason unknown to us at the time. I heeded his advice immediately under the excuse of taking a photograph of some rock lizard I had seen just then, and instantly, that ominous feeling passed over me. I suddenly remembered an amazing song I had heard the morning and started humming it as I saw a fresh water turn and tried to take a few photographs of it. I was back in my element again. 2 hours of searching for any signs of life in the humongous sluice gate, with the roar of the water of the lake rushing past the semi-open gate crushing our eardrums. Later, I was sitting on the edge of the pier, looking out over the lake for any birds, when one of the villagers, Prakash, he called himself, came and sat next to me, and asked me about what our actual motive was. I explained that we research living things and all such stuff, and slowly we came to this small abrupt conversation we had when I was trying to take a picture of the canyon. I asked him why he told me to get up off the stairs just then, and he was reluctant to tell me. I pressed him to divulge whatever information he was hiding until finally he agreed to, and said in Telugu, "Some things people like to remember. Some things nobody likes to even know." His story went like this. Around 2 years back, 2 nature photographers came to the lake in order to take pictures of birds. They had met the Sarpanch headman at the village and told him that they would be visiting for 3 days from the town of Siddipet, 1 day for scouting in the afternoon, getting to know the area, and then 2 days early in the morning before 5 a.m. to get some sunrise photographs and birds waking up. The Sarpanch agreed but warned them to be careful of any wild animals in the jungle around the lake. They shrugged it off, saying they'll take care of themselves. The day they had to scout the region out, they arrived from the city of Hyderabad, 120 kilometers away from Siddipet, around 10 o'clock, and had an early lunch in town, before arriving at Kodathumu at around noontime. They checked out the whole area, walking round the fields, round the whole bund of the lake to the other side and back to the sluice, before deciding to get back to their base in Siddipet at 6 p.m. When descending the stone steps, one of the men thought he heard a rustle in the leaf litter surrounding the path, but made nothing of it. Early the next morning, the 2 men arrived at about 5, parked their car at the small cul-de-sac, and sat there listening to the birds waking up. One of them took his camera and went up the bund, saying he'll be taking some early test shots up on the lake. The other agreed, saying that he'd be preparing his tripod setup for a few sunrise shots later on.
What is this? Oh my god.
Only minutes after the first man left, the second heard a scream. A drawn-out wail of anguish, suffering, abruptly ending in a gurgle. Then more muffled screaming, which suddenly, as it started, stopped. Fearing the worst and arming himself with his extended tripod, the second man cautiously walked up to the bund. What he saw there was a terrifying sight. His colleague lay on his back in the dust, his jaw shattered, face contorted into an expression of pure pain, his throat almost ripped out, jugular veins still weakly spurting blood into the already large pool there, and most horrifically, the abdominal cavity exposed. His entrails spread on the ground, pulsating. Almost shaking with fear, the man stifled a scream as he saw an appalling sight on the ground next to the body. An inhumanly large handprint in deep red blood, fresh as the day, fingers perfectly proportioned, almost 1 foot in length from tip of finger to base of palm. He ran. He ran like he never did before, got into his car, past Siddipet, and drove straight on the highway for about 50 kilometers, shaking with fear, almost driven to insanity from what he'd seen.
Almost
1 hour
driven to
after
insanity.
the incident,
Not
about
quite.
47 kilometers from
But still
Siddipet on the highway, a car met an accident with a lorry. The single occupant of the car was killed on the spot. Some things people like to remember. Some things nobody likes to even know.
What? Is that it? Hold on a second. What the fuck? That was it? Wow. Well, that was something. Jeez. Well, I didn't promise they'd all be winners. I just randomly picked them, so you can thank certain pasta for that little gem. What did you think? Which pasta's that one from? I think that one's probably easy to pick because it's so verbose and kind of try-hardy in its language. And yep, it's 1. You're right. Oh my god, dude, you're on a roll. Racking up those Dolce points. Hell yeah. Here's your 3 Dolce points. There you go. Be sure to hold on to those. All right, let's kick it up a notch and fuck, that last one was terrible. Holy shit! Just a bunch of like jargon of, I guess, Indian places it mentioned. Yeah, in Siddipet, Telanga, India. Yeah, let me just drop all these fucking Indian terms on you, right? Well, not terms, but like names of locations. Really terrifying. And all for what? It was just a dude that was like mauled to death by something. Pretty tame, TBH, compared to other stuff. But now we have Mom, Dad, I'm home. So let's switch up the music. And we'll keep this voice. It's doing a good job.
My parents should be home now, thought Suzanne, who was an ordinary schoolgirl who stayed late at school due to her club.
Hey, shut the fuck up. Damn it.
Her was her father, and she did not want to believe that her mother made.
What the fuck is going on?
My parents should be home now, thought Suzanne, who was an ordinary schoolgirl who stayed late at school due to her club. She felt rather uneasy walking home at night due to the darkness which consumed the sky. As such, she felt a constant shivering going down her spine and was very scared.
Very scared.
Something else had also been bothering her too, the rumors about a serial killer lurking around her neighborhood.
Oh, shit, bro.
For the past few months there have been 5 cases of families being murdered under similar circumstances, with the bodies always being discovered inside of burlap sacks inside the loft of the house. The thought of this happening brought Suzanne to the brink of tears, and she would cry for hours just at the very thought of this happening to her and her parents. But she convinced herself that it was all in her head and pressed on home.
All in her head,
Suzanne arrived home shortly after, wondering,
are
my parents not home yet? They said they'd be home by now. That's what it seemed to Suzanne anyway, as it didn't appear that there were any lights on in her house. Suzanne proceeded to open her front gate, which eerily creaked, and walked up her garden pathway to her front porch. She then proceeded to reach into her pocket, pull out her house keys, and unlock her front door. She gingerly entered her house, puzzled by the fact that the house was quiet and desolate. Mom, Dad, I'm home. Suzanne exclaimed, and yet there was no answer. Where can they be? Suzanne wondered. She proceeded to search the house for any sign of either of her parents. First, she looked in the kitchen, because her mother said that she was making her dinner, and yet there was nothing in the kitchen, no note about her dinner or any note telling her that they were out somewhere.
Dinner, you dumb bitch.
It was almost as if they hadn't arrived yet, even though they said they would have been home for 7 o'clock. Now it was 8:20, which is strange because if something came up and they knew that they would be late, then Suzanne's parents would have let her know. Suzanne was perplexed by the situation and left the kitchen, still wondering why she had not heard anything from her parents. Thinking about it made her worry more about what happened to her parents and made her consider the possibility that the killer may have gotten to her parents sometime before she arrived home. But she told herself that she was just being stupid even considering that, and that the best way for her to find out what had happened to her parents was to call them herself and set her suspicions to rest. Adamant on calling her parents, Suzanne reached into her pocket and pulled out her mobile phone, which she had recently gotten as a birthday gift from her parents. After doing so, she made her way to her phone book and called her father's phone. The phone rang, but there was no answer. However, Suzanne thought she heard a light ringing sound which sounded like it was coming from upstairs and decides to investigate it. She walked to the top of the staircase and tried calling her father's phone again, and this time it was much louder. Much to Suzanne's dismay, the ringing wasn't coming from upstairs, but rather it sounded like it was coming from the attic. This sent Suzanne into a state of panic, and it made her fear the worst for her father and mother, and most of all fear for herself. She feared that the killer was still in the house, wanting to kill her along with her parents. As much as she did not want to believe it, she could not rule out the possibility that this was the case. She knew the only way to know the truth was to investigate that attic herself and find out. After calming down from the initial shock of the situation, she proceeds to open the access door to the attic, which releases the ladder down. Before proceeding to climb the ladder, Suzanne calls her father's phone again and begins to climb up the ladder. As she does, the ringing gradually gets louder.
Oh, shit.
Suzanne climbed to the top of the ladder and listened out for the phone. She looked around and noticed that it seemed to have been coming from the direction of 3 burlap sacks, 2 of which appeared to have something inside of them and 1 which appeared to be empty.
Yeah, they're full of
Frightened to
fucking
learn
potatoes.
that the ringing appeared to be coming from inside one of the 3 burlap sacks, Suzanne timidly approached the sack that it was coming from. Not wanting to open the sack and discover what might be inside, she knew that she had to find out. She had to know what was inside no matter what. Suzanne untied the string on top of the sack and slowly pulled the top of the sack down, only to be mortified by what she saw inside.
Mortified?
Her worst fear suddenly became a reality. It was her
Oh
father.
my god, I fucking hate when fucking kids do that. Mortified does not mean horrified. Mortified means like you're embarrassed or something. Which could also accompany being horrified, but the two are not synonymous. They just sound very similar. Mortified. Oh my god, bruh. God dang. That shit irks me
Her
so
worst
much.
fear suddenly became a reality. It was her father's body inside the sack after all, and after gazing upon his pale face, she let out
You should be mortified. Yeah, just what I was gonna say. You should be mortified if you fuck up using mortified. Did this crash?
Her worst fear
Oh,
suddenly
no.
became a reality. It was her father's body inside the sack after all, and after gazing upon his pale face, she let out a near-piercing shriek and stood there frozen with fear.
Near
She
piercing.
did not want
Oh
to
my
believe it.
God.
She did not want to believe that the dead body in front of her was her father, and she did not want to believe that her mother may be in the sack next to him.
All the approximate
But after opening the
descriptions and
sack next to her,
approximate
she learned that it in
actions
fact was her mother inside the
seemed
second sack.
near. Oh,
With only a few moments to absorb the situation, Suzanne's father's phone rang yet again. Except this time it wasn't Suzanne calling on the phone. Terrified someone was calling, she nervously picked up the phone and answered it, only to be greeted by an ominous voice telling her, "Sounds to me that you've finally found them."
nothing personal, kid. Oh, that was the end. Oh, wow. Oh, what a twist. I guess that was an okay ending, but holy shit, the rest of the story was something else. Damn. Mortified. It's mortifying. Well, fuck. That was, what was it called? Mom, Dad, I'm home. So, vote now on your phones, people. 1. Okay. What if I vote, 69? Got him. Well, you'll be happy to know that it's actually from the crappypasta. You got it wrong, dude. Damn, be sure to ban yourself on the way out. But it does sound kind of verbose and try-hardy with this weird sentence clause structuring that I could believe it if it was from the actual creepypasta, but nah, that one's from the troll pasta. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take one of those frogs back, dude. So, let's keep things rolling. Doing alright, I guess. Although some of these pastas are questionable. Let's change up the music. I guess this song would be most appropriate because we got A Day in a Pokemon World Full of Horror. Oh my god.
Chapter 1, Introduction. I'd only had a Game Boy my whole life, no GB.
Hold on, I'm gonna switch the voice.
I only had a Game 02 Chapter 1 Introduction. I only had a Game Boy my whole life, no GB color nor SP, no DS, no newer version whatsoever, only what we called the grey brick, the original Game Boy.
Yeah, 'cause I'm a boomer
Everybody
gamer,
in my
bro.
neighborhood had a DS already, but I never even had a Game Boy Color, but I was happy. One day I got my own PC, and I wanted to at least see what the new generation of Pokemon brought, so I emulated the Game Boy Advance and DS as I finally had the chance to play my own game, not really legal though, instead of borrowing my friends. I was having a fun.
He's like bragging about how he never got anything beyond the gray Game Boy. Probably also brags about how he uses Linux or something like that and has to type in console commands to run Internet Explorer or some shit. Fucking boomers.
I was having a fun time, but liking each new generation less and less, I eventually decided to get back to my old game.
Oh, and he
Though it
hates
was
the new
my
versions.
old
He is a
save
fucking
file,
boomer.
still fully the same. No creepy Pokemon that died, or characters that tried to kill me, it was all fine. But from my time online I learned of the glitch Pokemon, Missing No.
Online.
It was a cold and lonely night, as I was playing with my old Game Boy, using the old man glitch. I caught Missing No and it was all fun. My mother called me to go to sleep, so I did. When I woke up I wasn't in my own bed anymore. I was wearing a red cap, had a bag full of stuff, and the room seemed kind of bold. I wondered where I was. When I woke up I wasn't in my own bed anymore. I was wearing a red cap, had a bag full of stuff. Heard an unknown voice call me down, saying it was time to leave. It all sounded so familiar, as if I had been through this before. Downstairs there was a person calling herself my mother, saying a professor was looking for me. Then I remembered, it was like in Pokemon. It was like a dream come true. I was inside my game, or was the real world-changing intro version of the game? I didn't know. Checking my bag I found an old Game Boy. No game was inserted into it, but it was showing some menu-like thing. It said trainer card and journal. I was curious what it would do, so I pressed journal. The Game Boy clicked open and it showed a keyboard where I could type my adventures in. It was all so special, it was all fun, seeing my dream becoming true, and there were so many things I wanted to do. My mother reminded me to see the professor as I was getting late. I said thanks, gave her a kiss as she thought I was her real son, and left sprinting, going to the tall grass where I will meet Professor Oak, and indeed, he stopped me. A mysterious force kept me back from the grass as the professor came closer to me, saying it was dangerous, but when I looked at him, he looked scared, like I was going to face my death. He looked scared, like I was going to face my death. Chapter 2, Not a Dream After All. He took me to his lab, running like his life was in danger, and I could do nothing but run after him. Once in his lab, one of his assistants closed the door behind us, barricading the door, almost as scared as Oak was. One of them let out a sigh of relief as the door was closed. The professor talked to me. "You were in grave danger," said Professor Oak. "I know," I said. "I needed to go out there so you would stop me from entering the grass and appear like in the game." The professor looked at me confused and said, "Red, do you really think this is a game? If you were attacked by those beings, you could have died or been seriously injured." I started to think, why did he call me Red? I wasn't Red, I was a real person, but of course the professor will think I'm the game character, and as I was in the game, I decided to play along. "Sorry, Professor," I said, "I didn't mean to get you worried, but I was looking for you." The professor sighed and said, "Well, at least you're alive, just never do that again." He turned around to grab something and said, "Red, I got something for you. I know you are using the old version of the Comboy. I got this expansion card for it." He turned around and he gave me a card similar to a Game Boy game cartridge.
Dude, it's not a game, it's fucking real life, bruh. You're gonna fucking die. Have you tried fighting a Blastoise IRL, bruh? Then you get your head blown off by Hydro Cannon or some shit.
Here you go. It's the upgrade pack. It should help
It's
you
the
keep track
upgrade
of your
pack.
Pokemon and it should be easier to call friends, he said, only to add, and I hope it will keep you safe from it. I frowned and asked what it was. He looked at me as he couldn't believe his ears. He started to explain about the legends, a Pokemon so powerful that it bends the fabric of existence itself, and transforms it into what looks like random bits of data. Its name was Missing No. I was a little shocked as he said Missing No. I caught one right before I got into this stuff. My mind started to connect stuff together. Maybe the
Connect
Pokemon
stuff together.
somehow got me dragged into this, but it isn't possible, or was it?
Oh my god.
At first as I woke up I thought it was a dream, but maybe it wasn't. I left it to the side as I was enjoying this dream too much. Chapter 3, the start of the adventure. The professor
like
saw
the
my shocked
chapters.
expression and said, well, there is no need to be alarmed. There have been no attacks here yet, but I don't want to take any risks. I want you to do something for me. I asked what, and he said that his grandson had gone missing. He was on an adventure to become the best trainer until it, Missing No, attacked the region. I agreed to do the job as I could become the best trainer as I went on my mission. The professor only had one Pokemon left. I thought it would be Pikachu, as in the old yellow version, but as he said the Pokemon's name I was surprised.
Rattata.
It was Charmander,
Oh.
my personal favorite Pokemon. Being a curious person, I asked if he didn't have any other Pokemon, and he said that his grandson
Look
took
in the fucking
Bulbasaur,
gift
and
horse
that
in the mouth.
Squirtle had
Goddamn,
escaped.
bro.
He took a pause, and added, or died. Not knowing what to say on that, I happily took Charmander and let him out of his ball. It was a cute creature, a little shy, and scared of what was going on. I picked him up and comforted him, and slowly he started to trust me. We went together on our mission, ready to take any danger. He stayed by my side, or at least that was what I thought. The professor wished us good luck as we went on to our adventure, not knowing what to expect from the journey. He left us out, hearing the door getting locked behind us. As we left Pallet Town after saying my farewell to my mother, we heard a voice calling my name. Red, wait up, I am coming too. I turned around and saw Blues, or Gary's sister, running towards us. She wanted to know what happened to her brother at all cost. Chapter
Blues
4.
or
Not
Gary's?
everything is what it
the
seems.
fuck? Oh my god.
I welcomed her and Charmander, who I called Silver. That's the name of my Chameleon RP character. She'd happily.
Silver.
We were happy not to be
Chameleon.
alone on this journey, and having somebody that could read the map properly could be useful. As we went to the first village, I asked what her story was. Well, I was sleeping normally after I played this fun game called Pokemon, but you probably won't believe me. Everybody thinks I am crazy. Everybody thinks I made this up, but I know I don't belong here. I know this isn't the world I grew up in. Hearing
Well, wrong, dude. Quit fucking spoiling where it came from, bro. Fucking asshole.
As I heard her story, I couldn't believe my ears. Wasn't I the only person who landed in this game?
This is a totally serious,
I said she wasn't
totally
crazy, that she
bone-chilling
wasn't alone,
creepypasta.
and I asked if she had a Pokemon
I don't know what
too.
you're talking about.
Well, I snagged this Squirtle from the professor. Those guys are so stupid, they didn't even see me enter. Now I got this Squirtle, so I feel safe,
Yeah,
she
I
said.
jacked this fucking Squirtle,
It
bro.
was all fun.
Check it out.
We battled some Pokemon, forgetting the real danger for a while. We were having a lot of fun. Until we entered the town. Charmander seemed scared of something, a presence it seemed. Not knowing what was wrong, we went to the Pokemon Center, but the closer we got, the worse it became. Now Squirtle also started to get scared, but he stood strong, kinda. We talked to a person as we waited for our Pokemon to be healed. He turned his head heavily, grinning, which was scary, partially because we didn't know why he grinned.
Partially scary.
Asking around
okay.
about Blue, nobody saw him except the old man standing outside. This fact scared me a little, as he was a part of which makes missing no able to get to this realm. He said he saw a nice young man go to the forest, Viridian Forest. Our Pokemon were finally healed to full health, and we bought some items, but something seemed different about them. They seemed weaker, almost like they lost the will to live. Not really seeing the problem right away, as it was dark, we assumed it was because they were tired. We left for the forest, but I wish we hadn't done that.
Dun dun dun.
Chapter 5, Forest of Horror Edit. I wasn't looking forward to entering the forest. I have a strange fear for mushrooms. I can't explain why, but my spine turns cold when seeing one. But what was waiting in the forest was far worse.
Shit, a mushroom, bro.
As we entered the gate to the forest, there were always happy people waiting, saying how gorgeous it is in there and dangerous. There was nothing. We didn't really care about it as we passed through and got into the forest. Instead of the nice green leaves greeting us, there was a smell of death, and a sky full of red.
Smell of death.
There were no dead bodies, but also no trainers, people or Pokemon. There was nothing at all. Walking deeper in the forest, we saw the hat of a bug catcher. When we got close enough to check it out, an arm-like appendage dragged it deeper into the forest. A little scared of what that was, we went to see where it went to, and we came to a cave. There was never a cave in this forest that either of us could remember, so we
oh my god, you
decided
don't
to
have
explore.
to say that, damn.
Closer
Spell that
inspection
shit out.
resulted in finding strange markings on the wall, like they were glitched.
Glitch?
We thought that missing no was behind this. Wanting to explore further, we saw dead bodies. We could not recognize what kind of Pokemon they were. The blood of severity of the mangled parts made him indistinguishable, and the smell was so bad we couldn't stay long. Daisy, Gary's sister, but I call her Daisy from now on, got sick of the thought of me being a fan of creepypastas could handle it kinda. But as we tried to leave, there was a mysterious force holding us back. Daisy was scared as hell. This wall and the fact that we were trapped and that the only way out was through all those corpses didn't help. We had to go on between the corpses of the Pokemon, of which one seemed a distorted Pikachu, Daisy's favorite Pokemon. We also saw some human parts. We had to go on between the corpses of the Pokemon, of which one seemed a distorted Pikachu, Daisy's favorite Pokemon. We also saw some human parts. Red, she said, what the heck is going on here?
What the heck?
I didn't know what to say, just feeding on the awkwardness of the surrounding area filled with blood and bodies.
Feeding.
Red, she shouted. As I kept walking as I was under a trance, I still thought this was just a strange dream and we just had to keep going till I woke up. With a cold voice I said, sorry, but we need to keep going. I've got a bad feeling about this place.
Got a bad
She looked at
feeling
me
about
like
this.
I was some kind of retard after that, and of course it was strange.
What?
There was nothing but dead stuff here. We kept going until we found an exit. The place we came out was really strange. It looked like a place that I knew it existed, but we were always forbidden from going to. It was still dark, though we traveled for hours and hours in the cave. We saw a silhouette of a person. It was Bill, but he seemed different. He had this strange grin, like everybody in Viridian City. He was holding something behind his back. We were in Bill's secret garden. Chapter 6, Bill's Secret. As we wanted to go to him, asking what was going on, I got a call. It was Oak. He wanted to warn me there was an attack on Pallet Town. Everybody was killed or turned into
bro.
slaves.
Oh my
He
God,
was
that's
holding
creepy
the
as fuck.
attacker back in his lab, but he saw the walls glitch away before his eyes, and he wanted to warn Red before it was too late. Red. Red. Are you there? He shouted. I am here, Professor, I said, as I kept Bill in the corner of my eye, not trusting him in this situation.
Interesting.
Red, where are you? You need to get to safety. Pallet Town is on the brink of destruction. We are. The signal fell away for a second. I saw that Bill was getting closer, still not able to see him clearly. The signal came back. Red, you need to get out of there, wherever you are. He shouted. The world is becoming the slave of it. Get out of the signal died, to be resumed by an image of a dead and bloody oak. Scared of the image, I dropped my convoy and focused my attention on Bill. What I saw was shocking. Chapter 7, Forever Alone. I saw Bill standing there cutting open Daisy's neck. Blood spilled everywhere from her neck. Bill was still creepily smiling, but now he was standing in the light. Half his face was glitched, partly, his eyes red as fire. As I stood there, not able to move directly, his arm formed into a claw, slamming right through her chest. Blood splattered all over me. As I snapped out of my shock, I called Silver, the Charmander. We were scared of the sighting too, but it was too much for my Charmander. In a last struggle to survive, or at least trying one to let me survive, Daisy dropped her only Pokeball, and Squirtle came out, who was fed with anger, wanting revenge for her death. Squirtle and I tried to fight off Bill, using water gun to distract him and get past him. We went running, only to be stopped by a hole in the world, created by the decaying effect of the glitch Pokemon. I ordered Squirtle to do a water gun in a desperate attempt to get his knife. Bill threw Pokeball and Pidgeot came out.
Oh shit.
It seemed sad that his master wasn't who he used to be. Bill
Yeah, it's
fought
pretty
a hard
lame when
battle,
you just
but
got a
I didn't
Squirtle
stand
using
a
water
chance.
gun.
Squirtle was about to faint, but when it saw I was doomed, the Pidgeot turned against its master, not being able to follow the wicked orders he barked. Bill wasn't his master anymore. Pidgeot used Aerial Ace on Bill, knocking him back, causing him to drop his knife. I took my chance and grabbed the knife, as I wanted to kill him, to get rid of it once and for all. Chapter 8, the end. As soon as I wanted to stab him, the Force stopped me again, keeping me from even touching him, but it wasn't needed anymore. The broken Bill started to decay, missing S effect took its toll. Glad that it was over, I checked on Daisy. She had lost too much blood and her wounds were fatal. She was dead.
Oh no.
Nothing could be done.
No.
Squirtle had a sad look on its face. It started to cry. Pidgeot too mourned over his master, Bill.
Well, if the Pokemon movies
Bill
taught
was
me
a good
anything, you
trainer
just need to
before this
cry
happened.
and transport your tears
We
and
had
it'll
to go
save
on,
someone.
I said. Pidgeot turned his face from the decaying Bill, but Squirtle decided to
Decaying
stay
Bill.
out of respect for its trainer. I climbed on Pidgeot to look for Blue, the only one who could save the world. We went to the Elite Four only to find a lot of dead bodies. Every last member was slaughtered, dead, ripped into pieces. The Indigo Plateau was a total bloodbath. We came to the place where we normally fight Blue for the champion title. Pidgeot, Charmander and I went to the figure standing in the room. A crying sound was passed through the room. It felt like it was cutting through steel. High tones were mixed with the crying. The closer we got, the stranger it became. The world was still decaying slowly. We soon reached the person sitting and crying. Charmander didn't know where to hide, standing behind me, scared as hell, as I said, "Are you alright?"
I thought his name was Silver.
The figure stood up. "Yeah," they said, still sobbing. "And you know why?" he said. "No." I answered. He turns around, it was Blue, Gary.
Oh shit.
There were no eyes in his skull, only something that looked like a pixel mess where his eye should be,
A
blood
pixel
dripping out of
mess.
it instead of tears and smoke coming out of his eye sockets. "Because I killed them all," he said, laughing insanely, "and you're next." Scared and not knowing what to do, I wanted to take Charmander and jump on Pidgeot to run, but as soon as I turned around, Charmander was dead, strangled it seemed, and Pidgeot. Nothing but pieces. My last friends in this world, dead, and soon I would join them in the
His name's
afterlife.
actually Green in Japanese.
I got knocked out by something. When I woke up,
Gaijins.
I was laying in a pool of blood. still alive. I was strapped in some torture device.
I'm really surprised the pasta didn't
I was
mention that
greeted by
factoid.
2 figures, Blue Gary, dead, and Missing No.
Blue Gary.
Why did you catch me? Missing No said, you forced me into this realm. You forced me to live under the creatures I am no part of. You forced me to live.
Missing
Why
No's
did you do
talking.
this to me?
Jesus fucking Christ.
I shouted. You forced me to live in a world where I didn't belong. I was not complete. Now I will force you to live in my world, it answered as it changed
Welcome
forms.
to my world, kid.
It became Red's mother, grinning evilly. I guided you here. It changed its form to oak as it said that. Everything is a lie. It said as it became Daisy. I am a lie, it said as it turned to the pixel mess that it originally was. And you know what the great part is?
What?
He. Soon, you'll be a lie too. After he said that, I had a ripping feeling, as if my skin was getting torn off of my body. Blood started to drip out of my new wounds all over my body as I screamed. Missing No did nothing but laugh, repeating, a lie, a lie. A lie. Shortly after that I found myself in my own bed, completely unharmed, in my own room.
Oh, cool.
I heard people
We
crying
lived. We
downstairs.
survived.
I went to see, and my parents were crying over a picture of me. Mommy,
Mommy.
I said. My mother turned around, overjoyed, still crying over her boy. Where were you? You were gone for days, she said. My answer was, I don't know, mother. I don't know. Later, when I was getting ready to go to bed, I glanced into the mirror. I didn't see my reflection at first, but I rubbed my eyes, and there it was, my reflection. I calmed down until I saw the scar that was on my body. The scar formed 2 words. A lie.
A lie.
I
Oh
never
my
caught
God,
another
bro,
Missing
this is
No
scary as fuck.
ever again.
Oh. Well, that was quite the adventure, with the chapters and all. Holy shit. So I'll give the chat a moment to vote. 1, if you think that's from the proper creepypasta, or 2, if it's from the Troll Pasta Training Wiki. Damn, bro, you don't have to fucking spam too. Jeez, we get it. Well, I'm gonna say that was 1, because it wasn't. It's actually from the Troll Pasta, if you can believe it. I know, hard to imagine that came from the Troll Pasta. It's a hard pill to swallow, but that was in fact not a real creepypasta. I know, I'm sad too when I found out. I felt betrayed. It wasn't on the real creepypasta. Alright, so what the fuck? Let's switch gears and stop talking about Pokemon. And we're gonna listen to Black Castle. Just Black Castle.
I was 23 years old. I was backpacking across Europe and visiting friends and sightseeing. My final destination was in Romania. I quickly got sidetracked in the thick forests of Romania. I was lost and scared and hungry. I hadn't eaten in days. I traveled through the forest for hours. Dusk was coming. I could see a castle, massive. I thought to myself, anything is better than freezing to death in these woods, so I ventured upward towards the castle. I got to the black gates. The castle was monstrous and it looked abandoned, as if nobody had been in it for ages. I
What
opened
abandoned
the
means.
gates with all my strength, and I proceeded towards the main castle.
Damn, bro, it's fucking Dracula's
There was a
castle,
courtyard,
or what, bitch?
filled with gargoyles and tombs and underpasses. The castle was very large and complex. I walked up the stairs and opened the castle door. The castle was dark and quiet. A staircase led up to the top chambers, and there were many halls and other rooms. The halls were aligned with paintings. Paintings from centuries ago. The floors were carpeted with red velvet. The paintings portrayed a woman who looked in her 30s, wearing a blood-red dress.
Blood? Oh my god, bro.
I examined the painting and the painting stared back. I jumped back for a moment as it looked like the painting was staring at me.
Oh, shit.
I quickly walked away. I got back to the main room, and I walked up the spiral stairs leading up to the top chambers. I went up into a room and decided to get some rest.
Just make
I
yourself at
quickly
home,
fell
bro.
asleep.
Damn.
I woke up during the night to a loud noise. I could hear it echoing from down the corridor. I slowly got up and then peeked my head out the door. I saw a woman in a blood-red dress,
Oh,
black
shit.
hair and black eyes. Staring at me, she began to smile and laugh before she vanished. It was the woman from the painting. I quickly grabbed my things and ran down the stairs. I tripped in my hesitancy and fell and sprained my ankle. I got up and ran over to the door. The door wouldn't open. I slammed on the door, but it just wouldn't budge. I looked back to the top of the stairs and saw the woman staring down at me. I ran down one of the other corridors. It was a dead end. I could see her following me down the corridor. There were black shadows following her. The shadows were moaning loudly as if they were in extreme pain.
Whoa.
The moaning got louder. I continued to run faster down the corridor. The corridor was never ending, it seemed.
It seemed.
I ran as fast
wasn't.
as I could. I felt my feet plunge into the ground. I was soon having the sensation of falling.
Having the
falling through a
sensation of
trapdoor.
falling.
I was screaming for help. No one could hear my cries this far off in the woods, especially in this castle. I fell into a well. I was in complete blackness. I was in water.
Fell in a well.
I couldn't see anything. I grabbed a lighter from my pocket and pulled it out and ignited it. I was in a well, and the trap door was shut hundreds of feet above me. I was trapped down here. I was scared. I kept getting the sensation that I was drowning because I barely knew how to swim. I felt something pulling me under. I was soon pulled under the dark water. I could see a white, long figure pulling me under. It was a faceless creature.
Oh,
I
shit.
kicked it in the face as hard as I could.
Rude.
I kept gasping for breath. I pulled a pocket knife out of my pocket and began to stab it in the head.
Damn, hardcore.
I could feel the blade piercing into the creature's head. A creature let out a loud screech and then dove down into the abyss. I
Dove
swam
down
back
into
up to the
oh,
surface.
dove.
Gasping for air. I flashed my lighter
Fucking
towards the
TTS.
wall and noticed a vent. I climbed into the vent. I was soaked from the water. The vent was very small and it was dark and I couldn't see at all. I was about halfway through, and then I saw a small light at the end. I kept crawling, and I finally got out. I fell into a small room.
Oh, fuck.
There was a mirror in the room. I got up and made my way to the mirror. The mirror was massive and was outlined in gold. I could see myself in the mirror. I was covered in black mud and my hands were covered in blood. I gazed at myself in the mirror. The room began to darken, and I could see my skin peeling. My skin was turning red, and my eyelids were peeling off, and my eyes popped out of my skull. Blood ran from my nose, my ears, and my eye sockets. My skin fell from my bones, and my bones fell to the ground and shattered. I jumped back from the mirror. What just happened? I screamed to myself. I got up and ran as fast I could. I opened the door and jumped out of the room. I was in a hallway. I could not see the ends of the hallway. It was dark at each end. I decided to go left. I started walking down the corridor. The corridor was very long. I could hear a distant voice behind me. I looked behind me, and in the darkness a woman in a long, red dress appeared. I began to run. I ran as fast as I could, but the hallway didn't seem to end. I kept running, and the woman's voice grew louder. I finally stopped and ran into a room. I locked the door and ran into the corner. I could see the doorknob moving as if someone was trying to open it. It stopped after a few minutes. I sat there for a moment, shaking. I was trying to take it all in. I got up and tried to figure out where I was. In the wall was a small elevator that was most likely used to bring things from the basements to the higher floors of the castle. I crawled into it, and I pulled the lever.
Elevator.
I began to descend. It took me about 5 minutes to arrive at the bottom. I crawled out of the elevator, and I was in a hallway. It was lit by torches. It was quiet. I crept my way to one of the rooms at the end of the hallway. I peeked my head in, and what I saw almost made me vomit.
I
saw hundreds of bodies hanging from the ceiling. Mangled corpses dripping blood. There was something particularly odd about these corpses, though. They were all skinned, as if the blood was meant to be collected. I took a step into the room and walked towards one of the bodies that were on the floor. I walked over.
I love how you're grossed out and on the verge of puking, but you have time to reach these conclusions of, oh, they seem to be collecting blood or something. Very interesting. But also...
I walked over to it almost as if I couldn't help myself. It was as if I was being controlled. I made my way to the body. The body was in a white robe covered in blood. The smell was intoxicating. The body turned upward, looked me straight in the eyes, and moaned. I finally broke free and ran out of the room as fast as I could. I ran out into the cold torchlit hallway. I could smell blood. All I could smell was blood. I began to vomit. I quickly recuperated, then ran up the hallway and busted open the door. I was outside. It was cold and windy outside. The sky was a dark gray. I was in a courtyard. I needed to get out of here. I ran back to the entrance, and the gate was sealed shut. A lot of these lines sound
like they've been lifted from some,
I ran back to the entrance,
like
and the gate was
text-adventure
sealed
game.
shut. I tried climbing it, but I just couldn't get out of this damn place. I looked at one of the castle towers, and there was a light coming from the top floor. I decided to go investigate. I ran towards the cemetery, the tower being on the other side. I walked into the cemetery, and I felt as if there was something moving beneath me. I began to sprint, and I finally got to the tower. I ran into the tower. I was welcomed by a woman's laugh. I ran up the stairs to finally confront the woman I had kept seeing. I ran up to the room. I saw a woman in red, in a bathtub filled with blood.
Oh my god, blood!
She got up and stared into my eyes. Her eyes were pitch black, and blood dripped from her body. Her eyes were pitch black, and blood dripped from her body.
What if you read creepypastas, but you're one of those people who are turned on by blood?
Her eyes were so seducing that I could not stop staring into them.
Then it turns into,
I broke free of the spell and began to run towards her with a pocket knife. She vanished. I looked behind me and she was there. I quickly looked around the room and looked for something that I could fight her with. I saw the mirrors on the wall. They were all turned away from her, almost as if she didn't want to see herself.
Almost as if.
I ran over to the mirror and pointed it at her. She began to scream, and the scream was loud and painful. I began to cry. It was so loud and agonizing. I kept doing it, and she started burning. She vanished into dust. I ran out of the tower and quickly ran out of the gate. The gate was opened, as if a magical seal broke off.
As
I ran
if
out
a magical
of the
seal
gate and down the
broke.
mountainside. I never felt
This
so
is
relieved.
garbage. Wow.
I was still covered in blood and mud. I
Blood
heard a
and mud,
helicopter
yeah.
off in the distance. I lit a fire with my lighter and I drew the attention of the helicopter. The helicopter came down.
With
What
a
happened to
lighter?
you?
Damn, that's a
The pilot
bright-ass
asked.
lighter.
Just please get me out of here, I said. I got into the helicopter and we took off. I looked back at the
Helicopter like
castle as we flew away.
helicopter?
I took a deep breath and relaxed. I closed my eyes. I looked to my right and the woman in red was sitting there, her black eyes gazing into mine.
Oh my god. Damn, what a twist. Damn, that was some M. Night Shyamalan shit, bro. Holy fuck, that was awesome. That was incredible. So, vote now. 1 or 2. Real or fake? And if you vote 3, I'm gonna ban you. Gotta be 1? Well, shit. Fuck you, bruh. It is 1, damn it. I did stump you with, which was it? Oh yeah, Day in the Pokemon World. You thought that was real, bruh? Wow. Can't believe you voted 1 on that one. Shit. But yeah, that is a bona fide creepypasta on the official wiki that you can check out right now. That makes it onto the creepypasta wiki. Yeah, right up there with the Slenderman and Ben Drowned. And all the creepypasta classics is Black Castle. Excelente. So, let's check out the last one I have lined up. Ooh, we're in the home stretch, boys. I guess you can already see Pokemon. So we got another Pokemon one, hell yeah. You know, I love those video game pastas. But this one's called Drought. And I need to put on appropriate music. And we'll begin.
There are some Pokemon fans you can tell at a glance. I'm not talking about someone who has enough knowledge of metagame strategies to win every battle or can tell you the exact stats or mouthful of any of the 600 odds mons. I'm referring to those who grew up along with the Pokemon saga. For people like us, who played games from all generations for years, it's easy to tell an original Pokemon cartridge when you see one. And so I did. It was a fresh Friday of autumn. The kind of days you can still go around in t-shirt and shorts but can already feel the chills of the middle season. My brother and I both owned a copy of Pokemon Platinum, but he had lost interest in the game after a while, and had started to play with my cartridge.
Play with
Not
your
that I
what,
minded,
bro?
as a Pokemon lover. He was almost as seasoned as I am, and he had never done idiotic
Seasoned.
things like overwriting my save file, releasing my team, or breaking my winning streak at the battle frontier. However, all of this meant we had a copy of Platinum too many. I was hoping to trade it in at some video game shop. I was just on my way there where I stumbled upon a group of kids playing with various Nintendo consoles, brand new DSs mostly, but also a couple of old GBAs that were in surprisingly good condition.
Various Nintendo consoles.
I was just on my way there where I stumbled upon a group of kids playing with various Nintendo consoles, brand new DSs mostly, but also a couple of old GBAs that were in surprisingly good condition. Interested, I took a peek at one of them and saw he was playing Pokemon Emerald.
Why are you inspecting the
I quickly
quality of
struck
these
up a
consoles? Do
conversation.
you run a pawn shop or something?
His name was Franco, and it was obvious that he totally was into Pokemon.
Totally into Pokemon.
He showed me his DS and Pokemon games collection. We chatted about Pokemon and other video games, had some battles, made a couple trades, and I didn't notice time was going by so fast until I noticed the sun was just about to set. It was too late to make it to downtown before the shops closed, and since it was the weekend, I'd have to wait for 3 days before they opened again. Without thinking, I complained about it to myself. He must have heard me, because he said, "Actually, I'm missing Platinum version. Would you like to barter?" I didn't know what he had to offer, but I heard that sometimes you can find all kinds of rare stuff on Oblivious Kids, from rare trading cards to save files with promotional Pokemon in them. I considered his offer. He showed me a cartridge that made my heart skip a beat.
What are you buying?
The sticker was stained and partially peeled off, but the cartridge's translucent red color and what little of it I could make out left no doubt. It was an original, honest-to-God Ruby cartridge.
Oh my god.
I examined
They're
it
so
closely.
rare.
The Nintendo logo, seal of quality, and everything else seemed in order. If not for that ruined sticker, you could have said it was in mint condition. It particularly interested me because I had never played an original Pokemon Ruby game. When it came out, I was too impatient to wait until it was available in the stores, so I had played it on an emulator. By the time I could buy it, I had already finished it, and I didn't feel like playing it again. I had bought Sapphire instead, just for the gist of playing a different game from the one I had emulated. But I digress. We quickly sealed the deal, and I came back home with my new possession. I left it in my room and went to have dinner, then went back to my room. When I found the cartridge, I found a crudely crayon-drawn Groudon on the front, and the words "Ruby version" had been clumsily
What?
filled in with marker.
You bought this shit?
My brother was just playing at his computer, playing dumb. With the crayon and marker still
You
on the
bought the
desk in
fucking
front of
Crayola
him.
crayon cartridge?
Not too smart. But my revenge for his act of defacement would have to wait. I booted it up on my DS.
Oh, it was the brother that did
Predictably
it, I
enough,
guess?
it had
What
a
the
saved
fuck?
game memorized. It was named, unsurprisingly, Franco, had 7 badges and 80 or so hours of playtime. I selected the game, and was treated to a completely white screen that blinded me for a second or so. Nothing else happened. I turned it off and back on, and selected a new game. The introductory screen with Professor Birch went out as smooth and normal as it could be. It must have been some glitch or so, I thought to myself. I played the saved file again, and I thought I could see something, outlines of sprites, maybe a tree or two beyond the white screen. I couldn't focus on them much because my eyes would hurt if I stared at it for more than a few moments. I opened the menu, and the team screen opened up as usual. I looked at his team. Nothing special. Asuelo, Blaziken, Lanoon and Sharpedo, all in their
Blaziken.
40 to 50s. Thinking perhaps the white was a glitchy fog effect, I tried moving around to see if I would end up in a different area. Nothing. Hoping that with the backlight I would have a better chance at seeing things, I took the cartridge out and put it in my GBASP. Sure enough, it was easier to see. The screen was still bright, but at least I could make out my surroundings. I was just outside of Little Root. Taken
Little
by a
Root was nuts,
nostalgic
right?
feeling, I decided to visit the town, even though usually you don't have many reasons to do so. Perhaps a side effect of the bright screen, everything looked a little off. The green color of the grass and trees was slightly tendent to yellow, even though the main character's sprite and everything else seemed fine. A palette error or such. I was
Palette
starting
error.
to regret buying a game in such bad condition, which was sure to have its fair share of glitches and other problems. But it was still playable, so I went on. The music was a bit slower than I remember, and slightly off-pitch.
Slow music, very scary, bro.
The character's movement also was slow and chunky, as if it was a PC game lagging from memory overload.
Memory
It didn't trouble me that much. I knew I could expect all kind of weird stuff from that old game. The NPCs that were walking around were slow, and when talked to, they would sometimes cut the conversations short after a sentence or two. I went up to my room, and found it full of decorations. Little rugs, a table, a chair, and dolls. He had obviously taken quite a lot of time furnishing it. Guessing I'd pick off where he left from, I had Swallow use fly to get to Sootopolis and get...
Yeah, I love all the attempts at very technical jargon. A memory overload in a palette swap error or something. Bruh, my god.
Guessing I'd pick off where he left from, I had Swallow use fly to get to Sootopolis and get that last medal. But the Sootopolis area was grayed out. Franco must have quit the game just after busting Team Magma's heat out.
Heat out?
He must have been pretty young when he played the game. Probably he didn't know how to reach it. I checked
he
his
must have been a
Sharpedo,
fucking
and
noob,
sure
bro.
enough it didn't no dive, even though he had the him. I was pretty surprised to see that his team was now at half HP, except for Blaziken, which was at full health. I shrugged and assumed I was just too distracted to notice before. Deciding to take the long route around, I headed to Oldale first. I immediately entered the Pokemon Center, and the scene there was the oddest thing so far. There was a line of NPCs in front of the nurse's counter, and every few seconds the first one of the line would exit the building, and another would join the queue. That was weird. In the whole emulated playthrough of Ruby I had never seen such a scene. Franco had probably found out some secret event, or got a promo Pokemon that would trigger this. I felt excited even after all these years. There was something in a Pokemon game I had never seen.
Okay.
I still needed to heal my Pokemon, though, so I had no choice but to join the queue and go along with them. When I finally reached the counter, I didn't even press her or anything. The nurse didn't say her usual welcome line, but just turned towards the Pokemon Center machine, placed the 4 Pokeballs in it, and healed them. After giving them back, she simply said, "Next," and I automatically moved to the left and down, out of the way.
Damn, I wish that's how fast it went in real Pokemon games. Just insta-heals and says next. Sounds like a good time.
I tried to talk to the other NPCs in the queue, but got no response. The escalator to the second floor wouldn't work. I checked the PC and looked at his boxes. As expected, all his Pokemon except the team he had on himself were at pretty much the same level at which he had caught them, which struck me as odd since he didn't even have a full team.
Struck me as
Perhaps
odd.
he was challenging himself. I went to the Pokemart. There was a queue there too, although shorter than the one at the center. The good selection wasn't the usual, though. They were only selling Pokeballs and Burn Heal. The weirdest thing was that Burn Heal was incredibly expensive at 1.500 yen each. Damn,
Yen?
I thought
What?
someone tampered with this cartridge.
$dollars, bro.
Perhaps a Game Shark. As I went north
Damn,
and then
I
east,
thought.
I noticed
Damn.
the color palette was acting funny again. Where normally there would be green, there was a sickly greenish yellow, and the water was of a dimmer color as well. As I surfed through it, quite predictably, I was attacked by wild Pokemon, mostly Wingull. What happened with the first battle caught me by surprise. The enemy Pokemon started the battle with only about half HP, something I never thought possible in Pokemon. I sent out Sharpedo, and noticed its HP weren't at max, but slightly less. I couldn't think of any reason for that, even if he had somehow activated the so-called Acid Rain glitch, which caused continuous
Acid
damage. I
Rain
hadn't
glitch?
even ran
What the
into any battle up to there. I easily beat it with Crunch and went on. In the following battles, I noticed that even though I beat the wild Pokemon in one move without giving him a chance to attack, Sharpedo's health kept decreasing with every battle. I checked the team several times between battles, tried giving them healing items and berries, but their health kept slowly going down anyway. Even Blaziken, whom I thought immune to that mysterious health sapping effect, was receiving damage only at a much slower pace.
Oh, it's the acid rain, bro.
For such an old game, it sure had its share of oddities. I realized that at that pace I would have had to bring a lot of potions with me and stop at any Pokemon Center I had the chance of visiting. That bothered me. I decided I would delete the save file eventually, as nothing was worth going on with such an unplayable save file. But first, I wanted to get to the bottom of that. I casually passed by one of the soft soil spots, those where you could plant berries. In it there was a row of plants, but the sprites weren't moving and were in monochrome.
Oh, monochrome. Oh,
As
shit,
I
bro.
approached them and examined them, they disappeared, and the text, "The CHESTO berry crumbled to dust," appeared.
CHEST.
Examining the soil again, it said, "This soil is too dry to plant anything." There was definitely something big going on, and apparently I was getting close to the source. I decided to get this over with and go straight to battle Wallace. I flew to Lily Cove, and suddenly I realized what was going on. The eerie four-note melody and periodic flashes of the screen were those of when Groudon is let loose by Team
Groudon.
Magma. When that happened, I had gone straight to the Cave of Origins to battle it, and had no idea it could affect the rest of the world. But it just raised further questions after it sank in. Groudon was supposed to break loose after encountering it in the seafloor cave. How did Franco get there without dive? Or perhaps Groudon's drought could start threatening the world before even meeting it. Did it have to do with the game being left in that state for such a long time? For the game's point of view, the protagonist had seen the evil team depart on to awaken a legendary Pokemon, and instead of chasing after them, he did nothing, cowering away from his destiny, never resuming his voyage as a Pokemon trainer. Was I witnessing the results of such negligence? I decided to
Dramatic
find
much?
out. I quickly opened the menu and taught the hunt to Sharpedo. Just as I was selecting it, I had a start. Swellow had fainted. Without even a message or a warning, it had lost all of its HP. Frustrated, I went to the Pokemon Center. The queue was much longer than the one in Elldale, so much that it started outside of the building. It took me the good part of 15 minutes to have my team fixed. I went to the shop to
15
buy
minutes,
some
what the
revives and
fuck?
potions just in case. Another queue, and the shop's prices were outrageous. Pokeballs and battle items were at normal price, but healing items cost 5 times as much as I remembered. With little more than 50,000 yen and no valuables to sell, I was only able to afford 2 revives and a handful of potions. I started surfing down Route 124. No trainers in sight, and even though I had used no repels, I only met 2 wild Tentacool on the rather long trip.
Oh shit,
Both of
tentacle,
them
bro.
only
That's
had
scary
about
as fuck, dude.
1/4 of their maximum HP when the battle started. The screen was getting brighter and the flashes more frequent. My brother started peeking at my screen, curious. "You're going to fight Groudon?" he asked. I replied with a distracted, I couldn't take my eyes off the game. I used dive and entered the cave. The scene there shocked me. Instead of the water, there was an empty basin with some lava pools here and there. Grunts of both teams were lying on the ground, along with sprites of Puchainas.
Poocha.
Neither moved or gave response when talked to. I got to the bottom of the cave, and Archie and Max were there. Groudon wasn't. I approached Archie, and a cutscene started. He slowly walked over the lava pool where Groudon was supposed to be. He turned around and said very slowly, "You were right. You should have stopped us. Now it's too late." Then, he jumped into the pool of lava and disappeared. Groudon's cry, very slight as if heard from a distance, could be heard. My brother was as dumbstruck as I was. Max was lying down like the grunts
He's just
in the
peeking
cave.
over your shoulder at your
No
SP,
answer on him either.
seeing all this detail.
With no
Okay.
other idea on where to go, I headed to the Cave of Origin hoping to battle Groden. As I approached Soot Poils, I saw more and more sideways sprites of trainers, as if they were floating corpses. They were even losing color more and more as I went on. The only wild Pokemon I encountered, a Magikarp, started the battle with just a sliver of HP and in burn status. Even before I sent out my Pokemon, it took damage from the burn and was defeated. No victory theme, the screen just went back to the map. Opening my menu, I saw that 3 of my Pokemon were low on HP and in burn status, and even Blaziken, although not burned, had taken quite a bit of damage. I dove and surfaced inside the crater. Sootopolis didn't look anything like I remembered. Lava was pouring from the edges, filling near the bottom. There was no sign of life, and charred buildings and fire blocked all ways but a very narrow path leading to the cave. As soon as I was in front of it, a wall crumbled and a stream of lava covered the path I was in just a few steps before. I was trapped. Inside, oddly enough, I found 2 NPCs, Wallis, lying on the ground, and Wally. I was genuinely surprised to see Wally there until it hit me that to get to Victory Road before you, he logically had to get all the badges, so he had no reason not to be there.
Oh,
I spoke to Wally, to no avail. When I tried to speak
Holy
with
shit,
Wally,
this
he
is
told
stupid.
me, in a message which speed was even slower than that of Archie, everyone tried and failed. It is just the 2 of us left. Will you help me? The screen shook, and a tile of lava appeared in front of the entrance. Wally hobbled down the stairs. I healed my team the best I could with my meager supplies and followed him. I found him in front of Groden. The room was littered with charred trainer and Pokemon sprites. Among them there were familiar sprites. I recognized Watson and May on top of a pile, and Norman was laying face down in the middle of the room. I walked up to Groden, and the battle started. It was me and Wally against it. Bullshit, my brother cried from behind me. This game is a fake. There were no team-up battles before Emerald. I ignored him and went on.
I ignored it.
Groden was at full health, and on level 90. The message Groden's drought made the sunshine brightly appeared as soon as the battle started. My sprite and Wally's flashed as if they were Pokemon taking damage. I felt something hot trickling down my fingers. I checked the
What?
back of the console. The crayon on the cartridge had melted. The cartridge itself had gotten almost too hot to touch,
Almost
and the
too
faint
hot.
smell of burnt paper came from what was left of the sticker.
Bullshit.
We just couldn't find any
Team
logical
battles.
reason for that. Curiosity got the better of me, and I started
Oh my
the battle.
God.
I sent out Sharpedo. Wally opened with a level 40 Magneton. It made sense. It was close to the level
It
of the
made
one he
sense,
has
dude.
when
Wow,
encountered in the
amazing.
Victory Road. It was severely weakened, like the wild Pokemon I had met. Groden used Earthquake, leaving Sharpedo with little HP and knocking out Magneton in one hit. Sharpedo used Surf, but in spite of it being super effective, it only took out a small chunk of health.
Oh, damn, denied.
The battle was extremely one-sided. It swept through my team easily, as well as Wally's Swablu, Delcatty and Gardevoir. Even outnumbering it 2
Hey, do
to
you guys
1,
know
the
Wally's
difference in
team?
level and
I
weakened
do.
state of
Let
our
me tell you
teams were
all
too
the
much of
Pokemon
a
in it.
disadvantage. As soon as Gardevoir had fallen, Wally's sprite took its place. The same happened to me as soon as Swellow was knocked out. There were no HP bars or anything. There was nothing to do. Groden automatically got the next turn and used Flamethrower on Wally, making him faint. I braced for whatever was about to come, but nothing could prepare me for what happened after. The screen flashed an orange-red tint, so bright I cried in pain as I instinctively closed my eyes. At the same time, I felt a searing pain in my hand, forcing me to drop the console. It hit the ground
Damn,
and
this
the
game is
cartridge popped
literally
right out.
fire,
The plastic
son. Oh
around
my
the
God.
cartridge slot
Damn.
has partially melted.
This is also
The
a
cartridge
description of my
itself was completely
mixtape.
unharmed. My head felt heavy. I fell back on my bed and lost consciousness. When we woke up the morning after, my brother was dizzy and complained of a headache. I had gotten the worst of it. I had a blistering burn on my hand, and something like a nasty sunburn on my face. Knowing I would have been called crazy if I told what had happened, I told my friends I had an accident while cooking a barbecue. It took 2 weeks for me to heal completely. Some days after, against better judgment, I decided to give that cartridge one last look. First of all, I deleted that damn save file. I sure felt relieved after I saw the only option was new game. But that only lasted until I selected the new game. There was no introduction. No speech from the professor, no prompt to name my character. The screen went directly to the initial scene in Little Root, with the van in front of the house. But there was no one, no characters, no NPCs. I couldn't open the menu. Trying to move around just moved the camera. Upon trying to leave the town on any side, I would see a white border, on the other side of which was a featureless, grey land. Eventually, the map started zooming out. Somehow, the town got smaller and smaller. Eventually, I could see that it was not the actual Little Root, but a photo left in the middle of a patch of scorched ground.
Shit, that is crazy.
Then
son.
more
Oh, fuck,
things
man.
started to enter the field of view. A broken Pokeball. Charred wood, rusty metal,
Damn, pretty
stains
impressive
of
for a
dry
Game Boy
mud.
Advance.
and what I
Having all this
initially thought to be
cinematography
black and
shit.
yellowish pebbles, but soon found out were charred bones from a skeleton partially buried in the ash. I couldn't bear to see that anymore. I tore the cartridge out of the console. I tossed that cartridge in my closet, hoping to never have to see it again. I'm still friends with Franco, and I never mentioned the game to him at all, neither did he to me. He was oblivious to the fact that his ignorance and negligence had doomed a world, albeit a virtual one. A couple months later, I looked in the closet for that cartridge again, but couldn't find it. Probably Mom had misplaced it when sorting through my clothes. Maybe I will never see it again. Perhaps that's for the best.
Wow. Perhaps that's for the best. Oh my god. Wow, okay, well, shit. Wow, that was just intense. I can't even talk. Yeah, that was long as fuck. Well, you had to mention the brother saying, "Bullshit, team-up battles didn't exist, alright? I'm the Pokemon professor. I fucking know." Oh my god, damn, that was awesome. That was totally fucking awesome, bro. Damn, I was shitting myself. That was so scary. Damn, I'm gonna need a glass of ice cold water to cool off after that one. Jesus. Oh, so was that one or two? I say it's one regardless, because it was so fucking scary. Damn, I should have like got some comments from these stories to add to the experience. Well, wrong dude. 2 is incorrect. Damn, you got bamboozled twice. It is legit from the Creepypasta wiki. I guess one of the few ones that's that was added before the ban on all video game creepypastas. That one sneaked in, which probably means it's fairly old, I guess. I'm gonna assume. Oh, it's slow as fuck, bro. Damn. But yeah, can't believe it's creepypasta. Well, believe it, as Naruto would say. And no, I'm not lying to goof on anyone or anything. These are legit from the pastas I say they are. I would have said the same thing. I would have said it was from the troll pasta too. If you gave me that creepypasta and I read it, I would have said it was straight from a shit pasta town. But no, that one's in the real creepypasta. So just yeah, fuck. Well, I guess that'll do it for this little shindig of creepypasta bullshit. It was pretty fun. I had a good time listening to creepypasta and interjecting like an asshole. But yeah, that's just a theory. So I'm gonna wrap it up there. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for Indie Hunters. Be sure to subscribe to be sure to subscribe to these nuts, bruh. Yeah, got 'em.
Subscribe to King J.